What is up, dudes? Welcome back to Archetype Review. This week, Superheavy Samurais. I'm just, again, letting some time pass for everyone who wants to watch from the start to join the stream. So if you're there, just say something, we can chat for a bit. I'll wait 2 minutes as usual. So, yeah, hoping there is somebody there just to chat a little. Or it's going to be a long 2 minutes. Ugh. Okay. So yeah, this is all comes through from suggestions in the community Discord. Link in the description to join. Make your own suggestions. We currently have 2 things still in the queue, but one of them would be pushed back if someone else who hasn't done a suggestion yet suggests something, because they're from the same person. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say here. Yeah. I think somebody just joined, not sure. It is saying I have 2 viewers, so that's the thing. I'm sorry, I am 1 minute late. Don't worry, the first 2 minutes are just me waiting for people to flow in anyways. So, it's fine. Anyway, those 2 minutes are just about up. So for ones who haven't made it live, that's too bad. I am going to start. So anyway, to preface this, Superheavy Samurais are a very defensive archetype with no spell and trap cards, and even downsides to having spell or trap cards in your graveyard. With that out of the way, also they're synchro and defense mode based, which is pretty unique. Well, not the synchro based, the defense mode based. Anyway, let's just get into it. First of all, we have the first tab. There are a total of 39 cards, by the way. This is the first tab with only the non-tuners that aren't souls, which I put on a separate tab just to not have 20 million tabs in one Chrome window. I have a tab for tuners, I have a tab for the soul cards, and a tab for the synchros besides this, so don't worry, we're gonna be here for a while. So first card is Superheavy Samurai Helper. It's an Earth attribute, level 1 machine effect monster with 0 attack and 0 defense. During damage calculation, if your defense position monster battles an opponent monster while you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, quick effect, you can discard this card and target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control other than the battling monster. Your battling monster gains defense equal to that monster's defense during damage calculation only. It's alright. If it can help you if you're attacking and you can't beat over something, but the things you're going to be attacking with are already pretty strong, so unless your opponent runs 5-headed dragon or something, you're probably not going to need this effect. You can use it to defend your super heavy, but I don't see it being useful in too many circumstances. It's not bad, it's just not good. The second effect, when an opponent wants to declare a direct attack, you can banish this card from the graveyard. So as you summon target and special summon one Superheavy Samurai monster in your graveyard. That's pretty good. Now that is something you would want. The graveyard effect far exceeds the effect of the on-field. That can give you an emergency defense and gives you access to your dead super heavies. Next card is Superheavy Samurai General Coral. Mandatory Pendulum monster because it's an Arc 5 era card. It's an Earth attribute, level 1, Pendulum skill 8, machine type monster with 300 attack and 500 defense. While you have a spell or trap card, its pendulum effect is while you have a spell and trap card in your graveyard, this pendulum skill becomes 4. Once per turn, when a Superheavy Samurai you control destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can activate this effect. That monster can make a second attack in a row, even if this card leaves the field. That's pretty good. Lets you burst through your opponent's defense and actually make the direct attacks. It doesn't say on a monster, which is always something I fucking hate if it says that. So that's pretty good. It can just attack again. Its monster effect is if you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, you can treat up to 2 Super Heavy Samurai monsters, draw that many cards, and you can only use this effect of General Coral once per turn. Hold up, is this once per turn? Okay, if you have 2 General Corals in your Pendulum Zones, you can actually attack 3. Can use the effect twice, the Pendulum effect. That's pretty cool. Now this is a lot better than the previous one. Its first effect, its Pendulum effect, allows you to attack more, and its monster effect allows you to draw more in case you really need it. It's not the best draw effect, but you know, it gets the job done for an archetype that can't splash in a pot of extravagance. Next up, we have Super Heavy Samurai Blowtorch, an Earth attribute, level 1 machine effect monster with 500 attack and 300 defense. When an opponent declares an attack, while you have no spell trap cards in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, target 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, change the attack target to it, and perform damage calculation. Now this is bad. This only works when your opponent's attacking. You have 2 Super Heavy Samurais, one stronger and one weaker than your opponent's attacking monster, and I just don't see you getting much use out of it. That's the simple of it. It's a funny effect, but it's not going far beyond that. Once per turn, when an opponent monster declares an attack, you can change the target to this card and form down it cannot be destroyed by battle. Well, you know, this is probably the better effect, and it's still pretty sad. You can make this card cannot be destroyed by battle, and well, you can lean all attacks into it. However, with how the current game works, you know, your opponent is just gonna blow this thing up before you get the chance to ever resolve this effect. Next up is Super Heavy Samurai Swordsman, an Earth attribute level 3 machine effect monster with 1000 attack and 1800 defense. When this card is normal or special summon, change its battle position, which plays into the playing in defense mode strategy that Super Heavies like to employ. If a Super Heavy Samurai monster you control battles an opponent monster, after damage calculation, the opponent's monster's attack and defense become 0. This helps with, well, just getting over big beat sticks again and dealing a lot of damage. This at least helps in the beatdown, though don't expect your opponent to fall for this many times, unless they can't figure out what they're doing, but pretty rare case. But yeah, this also works when it is attacked, so that is nice. And making its attack and defense 0 does help make it more useless, but I feel like most decks have ways to play around this. Don't count too much on it. But you also don't have to be too afraid to use this, it's still okay. Next monster is Super Heavy Samurai Flutist, an Earth attribute, level 3 machine effect monster with 500 attack and 1000 defense. Unless they can't figure out what they're doing. So if they're me, I mean, even you would have a clue after the second attack. Actually, there's a little story time in between. I'm gonna pull up the relevant card for this. So hold on. I just want to fucking talk about this dumbass that I faced once. So I had this thing on the field. Number Chaos 69 Herald Request. When opponent monster declares an attack, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. So I had this on the field in attack mode. My opponent just kept attacking for no apparent reason. Almost like they actually thought they could beat me. Like they were boosting their attack above this thing and then attacking it. Just to get their entire field blown up. They didn't do this once, they did this like 3 times. It's still the most hilarious shit to me. Anyway, we're not covering numbers today, we're covering the Super Heavy Samurais. Anyway, machine, effect 500 attack, 1000 defense. You can tribute this card. Special summon 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster from your hands. It sounds like a very basic effect, but it can help bring out the higher level ones. and it can get itself into the graveyard, and because during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Super Heavy Samurai monster you control, you can banish this card from the graveyard, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. This is just simple, but very powerful protection. Your opponent can forget about it. You can load up 3 in your graveyard without them getting in the way of anything. Yeah, only thing is this archetype has no way of recycling. So that's kinda sad. But oh well, they'll live. Speaking of living, this thing will live through a lot of attacks. Earth, the Super Heavy Samurai Prep Defense, Earth Attribute, level 3, machine effect monster with a 100 attack and 2100 defense. Cannot be normal or flip summoned if you have any spell or trap cards in your graveyard. When you take battle damage, if you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, and this card is in your hand, you can special summon this card, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. Emergency defense, which can also be used as a non-tuner in your next turn. It gets a very good protection for a level 3 monster. Even if it lasts only a turn, it's alright. Next up is Super Heavy Samurai Giga Gloves. It's a Earth Attribute level 3 machine effect monster with 100 attack and 1000 defense. Stats might be weak, but its effect sure isn't, because if this card is sent to the graveyard and you have no spell trap cards in your graveyard, you can look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and then place them on the top of the deck in any order. When an opponent declares a direct attack, you can banish this card from the graveyard, excavate the top card in your deck, and if it's a Super Heavy Samurai, add it to your hand, and if you do, the attacking monster's attack becomes 0. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. This effect is good. It lets you sort out your top. It lets you reduce the attack to 0 of an attacking monster, preventing a lot of damage, probably. And it lets you essentially draw a card. This is... It does what it needs to do, and it does it grandiosely. It's not the best kind of card, just with the making attack 0 stuff, but you know, it's for what the additional things it does, it is just excellent. The fact that it does draw a card along with it and not just like send it to the graveyard and then you make the text, or no, you add it to your hand, meaning you're basically drawing. Just simply put, very good. Next up is Super Heavy Samurai Scales, an Earth Attribute level 4 machine type monster with 800 attack and 1800 defense. If your opponent controls 2 or more monsters and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, so it's a bit of an opening card if you're going second. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one level 4 or lower Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard, except Scales, special summon in defense mode. Okay, never mind, it's not an opening move, it is like a comeback card. This card is for if you're losing, you can use this to get back on track. The fact that Super Heavy Samurai doesn't run back row really helps with this card's well, actually no, it only mentions monsters, never mind. So it's purely just to, if your field is already empty and you've gone a few turns, you can now get your monsters back if you need to. You can also summon this with Flutist just to be like, yeah, I summoned this effect for this, I summon back Flutist. Boom, high levels. High level play right there. No, it's alright. It's not fantastic, it's not awful. The fact that the special summon might not always be relevant, but thank goodness it also does its effect on normal summon. Next up is Super Heavy Samurai Magnet, an Earth Attribute level 4 machine effect monster with 900 attack and 1900 defense. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Super Heavy Samurai from your hand, then change this card to defense position. Monsters your opponent controls cannot attack any monsters except this one. So, what's good about this? It summons a monster out of hand, allowing you to make synchros more easily. The thing that might draw your attention, but really shouldn't, is the fact that its opponent monster cannot attack anything except this one, meaning if you control 2 of these, you can attack lock. This card does not have the restriction for no spells and traps, so, I mean, that's good. It's really, well, it helps you. But don't rely on it. It has like the Marauding Captain deal as well, where it can summon a copy of itself and then do it. However, this one's not limited to warriors, and because it doesn't have the Super Heavy Samurai usual restriction of no spells and traps in your graveyard, it's technically splashable in any deck. Still, again, I don't put too much faith in attack locks. So, yeah. Next up is Super Heavy Samurai Kabuto. An Earth Attribute level 4 machine effect monster with 1000 attack and 2000 defense. If your opponent special summons a monster, change as many attack positions Super Heavy Samurai you control as possible to defense mode, and if you do the ones changed by this effect gain 500 defense until the end of this turn. This is laughable. This is laughable. You have to put this out in attack mode and hope your opponent your opponent probably is going to special summon something if you summon this on turn 1. But quite frankly, it's not worth it for a 500 boost. Maybe if it was permanent. But no, it's not. It is a one-time gain of 500 until the end of the turn. Why would you even bother? This thing will have 2500 defense, which makes it still weaker than most cards that are played. Moving on to Super Heavy Samurai Blue Brawler. When it summons, changes battle position, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. Congrats, this card is awfully mediocre. Not being able to be destroyed by battle was maybe a good thing 10 years ago, but today you're gonna notice that it is not so much. This card came out in 2014 in Duelist Alliance, and even at that point people weren't really relying on this type of effect. I think at that point it might have been a nice thing to have as an emergency defense, but I don't think it's gonna be relevant anymore these days. Super Heavy Samurai Big Baraji. This is not the small one, this is the big one. And it has an effect: if you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. After this card special summoned this way, you cannot special summon monsters after turn except Super Heavy Samurais. This card can be treated as 2 tribute for a tribute summon of a machine type monster. Is this good? This is okay. This is pretty good. Honestly, just the fact that it's easy to summon, there is no... The only restriction is Super Heavy Samurai lock. Fine. Who cares? No one cares. Super Heavy Samurai players want to make Super Heavy Samurais anyway. It just makes it less splashable and less of a, oh boy, easy link fodder cards right now. Just turn 1. And then I mean just for generic use. So, good. I like it. It can be treated as 2 tributes, might not be the most relevant thing, but you technically can make one of the higher levels. The fact that it's an option is fine, but you're more likely going to use this as synchro material. Next up is Super Heavy Samurai Transporter. If you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. After this card was special summoned this way, you cannot special summon for their turn except Super Heavies. If you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, you can tribute this card, special summon up to 2 monsters from your hand to your opponent's side of the field in defense position, then draw cards equal to the number special summoned by this effect. Wow. So, first of all, this is what you would call a neg 1. Where we had a similar card earlier which tributed monsters you control to draw, was General Coral. This one summons 2 monsters to your opponent's side of the field. In card economy, you have used, let's see, yeah, you have to summon this, which is not that hard. You can just special summon it. You can special summon this. Then you can choose to summon 2 monsters out of your hand to your opponent's side of the field to draw 2 cards. So you lost 2 and you draw 2, which is a 0. But because your opponent gains 2 things of resource, you have gone -2. Because your opponent has gained 2, which is, a disadvantage for you. Even if you can beat over it, you still gave them more monsters and more work for yourself. This is just awful, and it just feels like why not play with Big Waraji, which does does this better. This special summon is better special summonable level 5, which is the only reason you would ever run this, because he's the special summon level 5. But yeah, effect is awful. Next, mandatory second pendulum monster. It's the Earth attribute level 8 pendulum skill 1 machine pendulum effect monster, Superheavy Samurai General Jade. Yes, it's the other general. Its pendulum effect is that you cannot special summon pendulum summon monsters except Superheavy Samurai monsters. This effect cannot be negated. Once per turn, you can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control, increase its level by 1. General Jade is here to helping out with synchro setups, which is fine. You can tribute summon this card by tributing. This is its monster effect, by the way. You can tribute summon this card by tributing one Superheavy Samurai monster. When this card's normal or special summoned, change its battle position. This card can attack while in defense position. If it does, apply its defense for damage calculation. Now, this is the first one that actually attacks in defense mode, and it's probably one of the weaker ones. It doesn't do anything in addition to it. You only need one tribute, but that would suggest that you'd summon something, wait a turn, and then summon this thing. Or, tributing one of the tuners. You could say Big Garage, but Big Garage counts as 2 anyway, so there it does not matter. So, put simply, I think it's a bit underwhelming because it doesn't do enough as a monster. As a pendulum skill, it is at least okay. Even then, I'd rather have 2 corals. Because you don't care about pendulum summoning as super heavies. You care about the pendulum effects, because you don't have spells and trap cards of your own. So you need these pendulum skills which have spell effects. But this one is just disappointing. Not much to say here except disappointing. Now we're getting to the big boy, Superheavy Samurai Big Bang K. This card is normal special summon, you can change its battle position. Superheavy Samurai monsters you control can attack while in defense position, and if you do, apply their defense for damage calculation. Now this one does essentially the same thing as General Coral. No Jade. Only thing is it says Superheavy Samurai monsters, meaning that everything you own now can attack in defense mode. Which is a lot handier than having, say, just this card, but you can tribute it one monster. If you're making a main deck build for Superheavy Samurais, which you probably aren't, but you might, you need this. This is the core of the main deck plays. It's alright. It is, again, better than Jade, but it's not very good. You're not gonna see too many people play oh god, I have to have my 3 copies of Big Ben K. But yeah, again, it's fine. It's perfectly alright. Now we're getting to the last of the normal, the non-tuner monsters that aren't souls or directly soul related. Anyway, it is Superheavy Samurai Thief. If you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. After this card is summoned this way, you cannot special summon the rest of the turn except Superheavy Samurais. You can tribute this card, then activate one of these. Destroy 1 card in your opponent's spell and trap card zone, then you can set the destroy spell and trap card to your side of the field. Destroy 1 card in your opponent's pendulum zone, then place the destroyed card in your pendulum zone. Now, I'm gonna say it, this is perfectly fine. Allows you to steal cards, which it steals back row, which is something the deck actually does need. The only downside to it is that it's level 10. If it was level 5, like Transporter and the Boraji, it would be a lot better. Preferably even level 6 to get some variation going. Anyway, the stealing spell and traps is fine. Yeah. Okay, well that's basically it for it. It's a level 10 with 1000 attack and 1000 defense. Its stats are not what you're running it for. Anyway, moving on to the tuners. We have Superheavy Samurai Drum, a level 1 Machine Tuner effect monster with 300 attack and 300 defense, and if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard on the field, is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Superheavy Samurai monster, except Rum, special summon it. You can only use this effect once per turn, so it's a hard once. Revival upon destruction. Is this acceptable? This is acceptable. If it had set the face up and destroyed, or yeah, well, basically that. If it had to be face up or only by battle, I would say it's awful, but the fact that you can use this even if your opponent blows up your field to be safe makes it by far a better card. And you know, it's a free. It ends up by being a free revival. Just takes time. Not the best, but definitely not awful. Next up is Trumpeter, probably one of the major tuners in this deck. Because if you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. But for the rest of the turn, only summon Super Heavy Samurais. And if this card is tributed for a tribute summon of a Super Heavy Samurai monster and sent to the graveyard, and you have no spell and trap cards in the graveyard, you can special summon this card. So yeah, that's pretty good. Only you're not going to be tribute summoning a lot. But technically, if you have two of these and a Big Benkei, you can summon Big Benkei and summon these back. Yeah, it's a nice trade-off to do motivate some tribute summons. Anyway, the third tuner is Super Heavy Samurai Fist. During your battle phase, if your Super Heavy Samurai monster destroyed an opponent's monster by battle, quick effect immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon one synchro monster using monster you control, including this card if you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard. If you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, you can target one Super Heavy Samurai synchro monster, reduce level by 1, special summon this card, and summon nothing else than Super Heavy Samurais. Each effect is a hard once. It's fine. I should not touch the bottom bar at all. Anyway. Yeah. There's not much to say here. It's fine. It does what it needs to do. It revives itself easy enough, and it allows you more access to synchros and combo plays. Allowing the synchro summon in the battle phase allows you more attacks, feeding the beatdown strat that Super Heavy Samurais do have a little. Next is probably the best tuner though. Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball. If all monsters you control are Super Heavy Samurai monsters and you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, target one face-up monster your opponent controls that has a level, send both it and this card from the field to the graveyard. Special from your extra deck one Super Heavy Samurai Synchro monster whose level equals the total original level of those two monsters in the graveyard. This special summon is treated as a synchro summon. You can only use this effect once per turn. Hard once. Yeah. It's probably the only dark monster in the archetype, but that's fine. It doesn't have earth support. But this thing, very good. Just cause, my bad, just cause it steals monsters for free, makes your synchros. The only downside is your opponent needs to have an appropriate level, but Super Heavy Samurais cover quite a wide range of levels with their synchros, so that's fine. So now we're moving on to the soul cards plus Wagon, because Wagon is also here because it's kinda related. Wagon is an Earth attribute level 4 machine effect monster with 1200 attack and 1800 defense. When it's summoned, change its battle position. This card can attack while in defense position, using its defense points. If you have no spell or trap cards in its graveyard, you can change this face-up defense position card you control to attack position, and if you do, add one Super Heavy Samurai Soul monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Hard once. This card is perfectly fine, and it's actually very good, just because it searches some. Super Heavy Samurais don't have a lot of searchers, I think only 2. And the soul cards are just very good. They're things you would want to have, and this card brings them out. Speaking of souls, here is Super Heavy Samurai Soul Peacemaker. The first of the souls. Super Heavy Samurai Souls basically function as equip cards, because you can target one Super Heavy Samurai once you control, equip this card from your hand or field to that target. While it's equipped to monster by its effect, monster your opponent control cannot attack monster you control except the equipped monster. Oh crap, it is really helping that attack log with magnet. You contribute. If you're a monster you control equipped with this card, by this card's effect, special summon one Superheavy Samurai monster from your deck. You can only use each effect. You can only use this effect once per turn. It's just perfectly fine. It's not the best soul, honestly. It lets you summon any Superheavy Samurai from your deck, so if you're kind of stuck, you can bring out a Battle Ball and maybe make a Synchro anyway. Besides that, I'm not expecting too much out of this one. It does grant you access to your higher level ones. And of course, the fact that it helps with an attack lock. If you really want an attack lock, I don't know why they have 2 cards for the attack lock in one archetype, but they do. Have fun. Enjoy. Superheavy Samurai Soul Beats is an Earth Attribute level 1 machine effect monster with 0 attack and 0 defense. You can target one Superheavy Samurai you control, equip it from your hand or use that field to trigger that target. Each turn, the first time the monster equipped with this card effect would be destroyed by a card effect, it is not destroyed. When a defense monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to your graveyard, special summon it by sending this card from your hand to the graveyard. What do I think of its effects? They're not that great. Yes, the protection once per turn is nice, but its revival effect is pretty awful. Your Superheavy Samurais are pretty beefy in defense mode, so they're not going to get beaten over very often. At least not the ones you'd care about enough to use a card like this on. And its equip effect is something that you'd see coming from a mile away. If its equip effect was actually its discard effect, discard a card a Superheavy Samurai you control would not be destroyed by card effect now. That's fine, but because this doesn't come as a surprise, it doesn't work. That's the simple of it. Next up, we have Superheavy Samurai Soulbreaker Armor. It's an Earth Attribute, a level 1 machine effect monster with 0 attack and 500 defense. You can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control, equip this card to it from your hand or your side of the field. It loses 1000 defense and cannot be destroyed by battle. If you care about it not being attacked, just keep its defense high, you're fine. If this card's in your graveyard, you can banish all Soulbreaker armors in your graveyard and target one Superheavy Samurai monster on the field whose current defense is lower than its original defense. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between its current and original defense. This card really works well with one of the other soul cards. Too bad it says that you have to banish all of them though, meaning you can't set this up properly. Not the way you would want to anyway. But using it in the right moment can deal a lot of damage. But that's going to be quite the setup you're gonna make. Have fun. Next up is Superheavy Samurai Soulbuster Gauntlet. You can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control. Equip this monster from your hand or field to the target. It gains 400 defense. Amazing. Okay, now. During either player's damage step, when a defense position Superheavy Samurai monster you control battles an opponent monster and you have no spell trap cards in its graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the grave to battling. Monster's defense becomes double its original defense until the end of the turn. Now that is a good effect. You basically are never going to equip this because 400 is nothing compared to doubling. On Superheavy Samurais, by the way, that is a lot. You don't need a calculator. It's a lot. Especially on the Synchros, which can have easily over 3000 defense. Well, some of them do. But they all have over 2000, so, you're getting a lot out of this anyway. Next up, this is one of my favorites. It's Superheavy Samurai Soul Horns, an Earth Attribute level 1 machine effect monster with 0 attack and 300 defense. You can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control, equip this card to it. It can make a second attack each battle phase. While this card is equipped to a monster by this card effect, you can special summon this card. Second effect is okay, it can help you make more synchros if you really need to. Sorry about that. But its first effect, to make a second attack, really helps the beatdown aspects of the deck. Moving on. There's not much more to say, so yeah. Superheavy Samurai Soul Claw. You can target one Superheavy Samurai monster. It's an Earth attribute, level 2 machine effect monster with 500 attack and 500 defense. And you can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control, equip this card from your hand to your side of the field to that target. It gains 500 attack and defense, and it can't be destroyed by battle. Wow! So, while this card's equipped to a monster by this card, you can special summon this card. Well, for the second effect, the same deal as Horns. You can make more synchros with it, and that's fine. And for its first effect, 500 is not what I'd do it for. The attack boost is kind of pointless. Cannot be destroyed by battle, again, is not a thing you should be worrying about. With a deck with high defensive walls, and you're like, yeah, but it might have 4,000 defense points, but it can't be destroyed by battle. No, you're just looking like an idiot. Next up is Superheavy Samurai Soulfire Suit. A fire attribute level 2 machine effect monster with 800 attack and 800 defense. And you can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control, equip this card from your hand to your side of field to that target. Its level becomes 5. During either player's turn, you can discard this card, target one defense position Superheavy Samurai monster you control until the end of the turn. It loses 800 defense but cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Now this is pretty good. This is decent. It can save your monster from Dark Hole or Raigeki, and it takes that battle along with it, which is fine. Especially because it is lowering its defense. Its equip effect, it's purely to set up synchros. It's not something you want to rely on too much, so it's fine. Next up is Superheavy Samurai Soul Bankan. You can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control. Equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to that target. It gains 1000 defense. During either player's battle phase, when your opponent activates a card's effect while you control a defensive position Superheavy Samurai monster, you can banish this card from the graveyard. Negate it, and if you do, destroy it. Then destroy as many monsters on the field as possible, and if you do, both players take 1000 damage. Huh. Okay, so the annoying part of this is that, well, first of all, this has to be in your graveyard. You have to control Superheavy Samurai monster in defense mode. Your opponent has to activate a card effect, well, it's pretty common. But it's not a card or effect, so it has to be the effect of a card that's already face up, from the way I'm reading it. Kind of annoying, and the fact that you have to destroy your own monsters as well. You have to, by the way, you can't skip that part. Otherwise it would have been a very good negate, but it isn't. Fuck. The 1000 defense is the first, like, decent amount of boost I've seen on these cards. But it's going to be about its graveyard effect all the way, and not its field effect. Next up is Superheavy Samurai Soul Shield Wall. A Earth attribute level 3 machine effect monster with 1200 attack and defense. And the effect goes as follows. You can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control. Equip this card from your hand or your side of the field to that target. It gains 1200 defense. Whoa! When a monster equipped with this card effect is targeted for attack, you can send this equipped card to the graveyard, negate the attack, but the equipped monster's defense becomes 0. You can use this in combination with Soulbreaker to do 3000 damage, basically, if you equip it to the right monster, but that requires your opponent to attack a monster with that high defense boosted by 1200, so don't expect it to happen. Yeah, besides that, this card's fine. It's a good. It's all about its on-field effect, and it's a boost card. Something that Superheavy Samurais just simply don't have. Next up is Superheavy Samurai Soul Piercer, an Earth attribute level 4 machine monster, effect monster with 1200 attack and 0 defense. Sorry, taking a breather here. Talking non-stop for 40 minutes again. Anyway, you can target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control. Equip this monster from your hand or your side of the field to the target. If it attacks the defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. If this card is sent from field to graveyard, and one Superheavy Samurai monster from your deck to your hand, except Soul Piercer. This is amazing. The fact that it says field to graveyard means that if it's equipped, you can equip it to something, send the equipped target away for synchro, and then search. This card is just plainly good. While its equip effect is pretty meh, it can get around it by just being a good searcher. Yeah, so you can use the sync material, you can use it as equip cards, and then send it. But as long as you're sending it to the graveyard, it's fine. Then we're at the extra deck monsters, and let's start off with Superheavy Samurai's mandatory Link monster, because they tried to make a Link monster for everything to fix Link era. It's an Earth attribute Link 1 machine effect monster with 0 attack and a arrow pointing left down. It requires one Superheavy Samurai monster and cannot be used as a Link material. While you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card to basically simulate defense mode. If you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard, you can discard one monster and target one Superheavy Samurai monster in your graveyard, especially to the zone this card points to. In defense mode, you can only use this effect of Scarecrow once per turn. This card is easy enough to summon and can bring back one of your synchros, that's all you need to know. If you were... yeah. It didn't help out during Link era, because Superheavy Samurais were pretty much dead at that time as a synchro archetype, but now with the revisions this card actually works as it should. Next up is the first synchro monster. It's Superheavy Samurai Swordmaster Musashi, an Earth attribute level 5 machine monster with 300 attack and 2300 defense. When it's synchro summoned, you can target one machine monster in your graveyard, add to hand. And if you have a spell or trap card in your graveyard, you cannot use its. You cannot normal summon, special summon, or monster with its name for the rest of this turn. It can attack while in defense position and using its defense for attacking. This card is alright, it's just a combo piece. You're usually not going to end your board with this. You probably shouldn't end your board with this. Next up is Superheavy Samurai Ogre Shutendoji, an Earth attribute level 6 machine monster with 500 attack and 2500 defense. Okay. It requires one machine type tuner and one or more non-tuner Superheavy Samurai monsters. I should have checked this on Musashi, but I don't know if he had any. Hold on, let me check for Musashi. Did he have any one tuner, one non-tuner? There's no conditions on Musashi. Anyway, continuing on. This card can attack while in defense mode using its defense points. When this card is synchro summoned, you have no spell and trap cards in your graveyard. Destroy all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. Harpy's Feather Duster in a monster form, which is a lot more accessible. And another spell card which its deck is really appreciative of. This card is just plainly said it's good. You're probably running this. You're probably kicking your opponent's ass with this. No, it's not that great, but it is pretty good. The fact that it can help you get rid of the entire back row in one go, just wonderful. Anyway, next up is Superheavy Samurai Stealth Ninja, an Earth attribute level 7 machine synchro monster with 1200 attack and 2800 defense, requiring machine tuner, one machine type tuner, and one or more machine type non-tuners. This card can attack while in defense mode, using its defense points. If you have no spell trap cards in the graveyard, you can have this card's original defense until the end of this turn, and if you do, this card can attack your opponent directly this turn. Once per turn during your next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card. Okay, so if this gets blown up, you can just immediately get it back. It can attack directly easily by lowering its defense by 1400. Yeah, what's not to love? This card is perfectly acceptable. Well, you can tell it's a bit more of newer support because it had a lot more effect than Shoot and Doji did. Yeah, this card came out in 2017 as a bit of legacy support for super heavies. But yeah, does a good job of it. Next up is the level 8 Synchro Superheavy Samurai Ninja Sartorian Earth Attribute level 8 machine synchro monster with 2000 attack and 2800 defense. It requires one machine type tuner and one or more non-tuner Superheavy Samurai monsters. This card can attack while in defense position using its defense points. Once per turn during either player's turn, if you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, target one spell or trap card on the field, destroy it, and inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Is this good? This is good. Burn damage, get rid of back row. During either player's turn, meaning it's a quick effect. Not hard ones, just normal ones. So if you have 3 of these, you can do it 3 times. And it has decent stats. Very good. Next up is probably the worst of the synchros. It's Superheavy Samurai Beast QB. And level 8 Earth Attribute Machine Synchro with 1900 attack and 2500 defense. Requiring one tuner and one or more non-tuner Superheavy Samurai monsters. This card can attack while in face defense position using its defense points. If you have no spell or trap cards in your graveyard, this card gains 900 defense for each special summoned monster your opponent controls. Completely relying on what your opponent is doing. And unless your opponent is stupid enough to think summoning 5 monsters will somehow work better, you're pretty safe. They're pretty safe. Not you. You are not pretty safe with this thing. It's a beat stick among beat sticks, but the top it can gain is 4500 defense, meaning it will have 7000 defense, but no wait, 7900 because it gets 900 more for the extra monster zone. But that's never going to happen, and if it does, your opponent has a full field of special summon monsters. You're probably in deep shit, and this thing is not going to help. Yeah, this thing is just kind of a disappointment. Just being a big beat stick between the very good synchro effects, combo pieces, back row removal, direct attacks and revival, and then you have big boy. If it gave all super heavy samurai monsters you control 900 defense, maybe, but it doesn't. So next up we have Super Heavy Samurai Warlord Susanoo, an Earth Attribute level 10 machine synchro monster with 2400 attack and 3800 defense. Now this is the ace of the deck. It requires one machine type tuner and one or more non-tuner Super Heavy Samurai monsters, can attack while in defense mode using its defense points, and during either player's turn, if you have no spell trap card in your graveyard, you can target one spell / trap card in your opponent's graveyard, set it to your side of the field, but banish it when it leaves the field. Robbing your opponent of valuable resources and giving you a back row to play with in the process. Banishing it when it leaves the field. Beat sticks are for losers, pros use guns. You're getting it. Gun beats paper every time. It also beats stick. But anyway, yeah, this card is just very good. It also has that beat sticky feel, but it does it well by just having a good effect. So yeah, we're very good. That's the simple of it. Then we have Super Heavy Samurai Steam Train King, the highest level monster in your In the entire archetype, reaching the max level even, it's an Earth Machine level 12 Synchro monster with 2000 attack and 4800 defense. That's the same, almost as much as QB would have with 3 special summon monsters on your opponent's side of the field. Let that sink in. QB needs 3 special summon monsters to be stronger than this thing. So this thing's clearly the better beat stick. Oh wait, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! So no guns, but pointy fingers. Anyway, requiring 1 Superheavy Samurai tuner and 2 non-tuner Superheavy Samurai monsters. This card can attack while in defense position, play using its defense mode. Points. Once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards and target that many cards your opponent controls. Destroy them. Pretty good. Once per turn, you can banish all spell and trap cards from their graveyards, and we do inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card banished. This card is probably not worth its materials because it's level 12, but besides that, it's fine. It can get rid of all spells and traps in the graveyards, meaning your opponent can't recycle them if they're playing Paleozoic or Witchcrafts. And the fact that it can destroy cards on the field very easily really helps. And now burn on top of it, why not? You're probably playing this late in the game to make a finish here rather than attacking with it. But its 4800 defense points do help with its attacking power. That's it for all the cards in the archetype. I still have the search here pulled up, which is 39 cards. This is the largest till now. Yet I keep doing it in similar amounts of time. Anyway, we're going to the tier list. And ignore the Hearthstone commercials. We're not playing another game. So yeah, you're all 39 cards, and we're going to rank them up now. So first off, we have Battle Ball, which is S tier. You're running 3 of these. If you're using any of the synchros, you want 3 of these, just for being able to steal your opponent's monster. So yeah, let's see. Next up is Big Viraji. I think it's a solid B tier. It helps, it does what it needs to do. Sets up for synchro, sets up for main deck. You're gonna use it in both types of builds. Though I'm going to a little sneak peek, the main deck build is not going to be as strong as synchro build. Speaking of main deck build, here's Big Benkei scoring a C tier. If you're making the main deck build, it is S tier. If you're not, it's automatically goes down to C because it's only a beat stick. And it allows all your monsters to attack in defense mode. Nice, but for most of the main deck monsters you don't even want to attack with. Blowtorch. I just remember it not doing much. What did Blowtorch do again? It's that unmemorable that I already forgot. Oh, it changed. For some reason it went back to number C69. Let's see, Blowtorch. Blowtorch was... You can send this card to the target one. Troll, change deck target to it and perform damage calculated when the opponent monster declares an attack. Okay, yeah. It's a D tier. If you summon it onto the field, it can at least absorb attacks, but its in-hand effect is just awful. Same for Blue Brawler. It doesn't do enough. It's the simple of it. You're gonna have to be running it if you're doing the main deck build just to get Big Benkei some beat sticks, but besides that, eh. Drum, a tuner, 1 of 4, which is helpful. It's going to be B tier just because you need this. You need this. But then the first A tier is Fist for being a bit more comboable. The fact that it can revive and that it can synchro summon during the battle phase just really help it out. Makes it stand out a bit more. Then I'm gonna say A tier for this one. It's not supreme, it's targeting protection, but it's easy targeting protection. You just have to have this in the graveyard, and you can get that with Steam Train King or General Coral. Speaking of which, Coral is A tier, just for its second, well, you know what, S tier. Just for its second attack effect, and the fact that you can draw cards with this. Something that the deck would sometimes like. It would like to refill resources rather than use them up, so you're more likely going to use its pendulum effect, which is really good. Then you have C tier General Jade. Just disappointing. That's it. Like, this monster effect doesn't really help you at all. It just allows it to attack, but if you're using main deck build, again, you're using Big Benkei. You're not relying on that thing to do it itself. And its pendulum effect, while being good, it's not amazing. It's not standout. You're not like, oh, I needed this. No. You're like, that's nice. How kind of it. Giga Gloves, a solid A tier. Drawing a card, sorting the top of the deck, it actually fills up your resources rather than use it up. Helper. It's the first one. Sorry, my memory is not the greatest, but I don't remember it being very standouting. During damage calculation, blah blah blah. Discard blah blah. Oh right, this one's the one that requires multiple monsters and then increases the attack. Okay, so Graveyard effect was really good, and its on-field effect is kinda meh. It gets a B tier. Just for the fact that it can revive them. And if you have two Super Heavy Samurai Synchros in defense mode, you're gonna attack with one, you can boost the attack defense by the other. And wow, you have your big beat stick. My god, imagine if you have 2 cubes while your opponent rolls 6 special summon monsters. 14,000 defense points attacking your opponent at one time. No. It's fine. Anyway. Speaking of QB, it's a C tier. No, fuck it, D tier. Not worth the resources. The only reason you can use this is the combo with Fist to get Warlord Susanoo out. But quite frankly, I think there are better ways to do that. You're probably still running it for that reason, but maybe one copy. This is Kabuto, which is an F tier, wasting my time. The fact that it requires you to, well, what? Just to have it in attack mode, switching things to defense mode, just to gain 500 defense. You would expect it to at least do something else, but no. C tier, Magnet. Magnet just allows you to summon more things. Always very good. B tier, Saratobi. Burn damage, back row removal. Minor back row removal. It's fine. Shootin' Doji, A tier for being Harpy Feather Duster. Only reason. I'm kind of speeding through these, but there isn't much to say about each one individually. It really works more as a group thing. Prepped Defense is a B tier. Just a nice defensive wall to protect yourself from death. Unless your opponent finishes it in one strike. Skills. Skills is also gonna B tier. It can at least revive things from the graveyard. A tier. Scarecrow, because I'm pretty sure it was like discard a card, right? I remember what it does. Yeah, you can discard one monster and then bring a Super Heavy Samurai monster back. It's a cheap revival. It's cheap to make. It's cheap is the key word here. It can revive anything, so it's fine. Soulbreaker armor goes to D tier. I believe it's battle protection by lowering defense, and then you have the chance to burn. Soul Horns. Soul Horns, where does that go? It goes to A tier. The second attack is really nice, and it does so better than General Coral actually, but I don't know why. But it doesn't have that draw effect. I'm gonna move Coral down to A tier now that I think about it. Because the pendulum effect is not better than Soul Horns. Soul Horns does it better, but and you can have 3 Soul Horns. You can only have 2 Jades. Jade Corals out for the pendulum effects. Next up is Peacemaker. Peacemaker scoring a solid C rank. It is not doing its best to stand out. It needs to send away the equipped monster, not just itself, just to summon something. If it just summons something, like special send this equipped card to the graveyard, special summon something from deck negating effect, it'd be fine. Even if you summoned it in attack mode with 0 attack negating effect, it at least would make a good synchro combo piece, but it doesn't. Soul Bang, if it wasn't for the fact that it destroyed everything, it would be an S tier, but because it does, B tier. This one it's D. No, D. It's too predictable for its protection effect, and its revival effect is just like, oh yeah, if your big defense monster gets destroyed by battle, you can revive it immediately, is not a good way to start things off. A tier, Gauntlet, not for its equip effect, but purely because you can discard it to double defense. I forgot what Claw does, so hold on as I check. The target one Superheavy Samurai monster you control, equip this card monster from your hand or set the field to it. It gains 500 attack and defend. Blah blah. Okay, so it's a D tier. It's not too god awful because you can summon it, but you're not gonna use it for that 500 points, are you? I'm doubting between C and B. I am going for B then, because I remember Soulfire Suit being, it was protection, and oh yeah, becoming level 5. Becoming level 5 is kind of meh, but it gives it more options, and, well, being able to protect something for an entire turn by lowering its defense temporarily is fine. Unless you're facing some piercing deck, it's not even going to matter that you lower defense. Next up is Soul Piercer, which is S tier, just for being a searcher. You're searcher, you're S tier. Then we have C tier. Soul Shield Wall can negate an attack by making your defense 0, comboing nicely with that Soul Breaker armor, but let's be honest, this is just used for making a big monster. The fact that it may boost by 1200 and then says, yeah, if it's attacked, you're probably equipping this to one of your synchros, meaning that whatever you have has 3000 or more defense. Why the fuck would anyone attack it? This is the question you gotta ask yourself. Who would attack something with 3000 more than 3000 defense points? Stealth Ninja, it goes to A tier. Being able to revive itself, being able to attack directly, and having decent stats really help it out. C tier, Steam Train King, and you're running this as a finisher, but it's a little too pricey for what it does. At least it's no QB. Musashi, B tier, combo piece. That's it. Swordsmaster, C tier. It feels like something you would run in the main deck build more than the synchro build, and there it is going to be very handy. Same for Thief. It feels more like something for the main deck build because the synchro build will rely more on Shoot and Doji to get rid of spells and traps, and Susanoo to get them back to your own field, because they do it more reliably. If it was another level besides 10, meaning it's almost entirely useless for synchros, except for Steam Train King. It's the only thing you can make with this thing. So yeah, D tier for transport. No, F tier. Fuck that thing. Summoning 2 monsters to your opponent's field just to draw 2 cards. It's not worth it. You need to get more out of it than your opponent does. But you lose 2, opponent gains 2, and then you gain 2. So you and your opponent gained the same amount of card economy. Opponent 2 monsters on the field, you 2 cards in hand. But you spend on it. You're the only spender here. Are Superheavy Samurai going to be in the way for your opponent? No. Opponent is just going to be like Link Summon, Synchro Summon, Xyz Summon. This would have been good during the Fusion era, where people against decks that could not Tribute Summon, but against Synchro, Xyz, or Link-based decks, or just utilizing decks, it is going to be awful, especially against Link-based. Those are just going to have a blast with what you're doing. Trumpeter, easy, solid A tier just for being able to be special summoned. and being a tuner. Reviving upon being tributed is nice. S tier, another searcher. Being able to grab it. How long are your seconds? Hold on. Description says you're streaming 79 seconds ago. You start. Oh no, that's because the timer isn't updating. You joined in 79 seconds in. If you refresh the page, it should show that I'm streaming for an hour. Anyway, so yeah, wagon searches. It searches for free. That's what you want. I see. Good. Anyway. Superheavy Samurai. Warlord Susanoo. Where does it belong? It belongs in S tier. Being able to steal your opponent's spells and traps is just nice. It has a good beat stick. It does it during either player's turn, meaning you can get quite a few spells and traps. Steal all the generic shit, banish it after you're done. Your opponent is never getting it back. Your opponent playing masked heroes and then being annoying with their mask change, steal it. Your opponent playing witchcrafters, steal their shit. If they destroy it, oh, too bad, it's banished. So yeah, any deck that recycles spells and traps should fear this thing. Your mum. Oh, okay. But yeah, any deck that has heavy reliance on spells and traps, or very specific ones, should hate this thing, just because, well, it steals them from your graveyard. And anything generic that you might run, Extravagance, Desires, Raigeki, Harpy's Feather, Duster, all that, get me stolen. Anyway, this is the list of the tiered cards. So the only ones that are truly too awful to play, in my opinion, are Kabuto and Transporter. But everything else is playable, which, considering it's a 39 cards archetype, is pretty good. You would expect there to be like several cards that were just added in because anime, but there aren't. Anyway, time to move on to building a deck profile with this. I have not even logged into Steam. So let's see. It's still in the Goki deck from 2 weeks ago. I had started on one. We're gonna restart that all the way. Also, I spaced out Superheavy for no reason, even though it's supposed to be one word. So we're going to make the build. Let's see. Do I want a thief? One. One just for show. Same with Big Bang K, just for show. Just for show and for Susanoo, honestly. I did not expect this card to be here. That is not a Superheavy Samurai, so we don't have to worry about it, but let's just... Okay, now it's gone. Next up is General Jade. You have to run one just to get the pendulum scales if you really want, if you're really feeling spicy, but you have nothing to fill up your hand quick enough to actually use them properly, so... Transport! No. Big Waraji, big time. Free big Warajis. Wagon? Free. Soul Piercer? Free of. Kabuto? You're kidding, right? Let's put in 2 magnets and 2 scales. I honestly don't need the Brawl Brawler. 2 Soul Shield Walls to get that extra defense. 2 Swordsmans to lower the attack. 3 Soulbank Cannons. There's a nice little risk card in here. Flutist 3 times because it's the protection. 2 Prep Defense. 3 Giga Gloves. 3 Fists. 3 Soulfire Suits. Skip on the Claws. Trumpeter. Battle Ball. No Blowtorch. 2 General Corals. Drum. Twice. And 3 Gauntlets. 3 Horns. I'm going to have to cut down some stuff after this. Yeah, let's cut down the main deck, because it's a little too fat. Thief is the Thief and Big Bang K and honestly Jade are going out because you're not gonna use them. Let's cut down on the souls a little bit, you don't need that many. Same for Soulfire Suit. Prep defense you're not going to need that much of, nor are you going to need them a flutist or swordsman. For too many. Honestly, I'm more tempted to remove the scales rather than this, just for that attack lock, but summoning from graveyard is better than summoning from hand. This one battles, but I'm gonna reduce both of these by 1 just to not overflow the deck with them. And there we go, this is the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. 2 steam trains, 3 of these, 1 of these, 3 of the... Oh no, wait, that's more than we can handle. 2 of each one at most. 2 of each one except for QB. QB gets to be on his own. QB sucks. It knows what it did. There you have it. This is a pure build. Of course, you can take out some cards and replace them with very good hand traps like Ash Blossom or Snow Ogre or Effect Failure, which probably would work better. But this is what you get. So I'm just going to duel this quickly online, and then I'll take any challenge that comes from chat. Fight me, I will kick your ass. These samurais are super heavy, they'll sit on you, they'll crush your bones. Anyway, so let's go against the Felzones. So I know it's only Jan Koopman right now in chat. Do you want to duel after this one? Okay, it's nice. Starting off with Battle Ball, Giga Gloves, and Scales. This one will really tip the scales. Oh, it's ninjas! Quick effect, you can banish 2 dark ones from your grave. You banish this phase of card till the end phase. What is that for dumbass effect? As a card's normal summon, you can special one level 4 lower ninja from your hand in attack position or face down. From the extra except ninja monsters. Okay. Summon Battle Ball. I still haven't updated my deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Then get to work! Equipping Soul Piercer to get that search off. Stealing his better monster. Shootin' Dojis. I'll activate Shootin' Doji and I'll activate Soul Piercer. By doing it in this order, by the way, he can't negate Shootin' Doji because this is the last thing in the chain. So this will allow me to add Gauntlet, and that will blow up his back row. What did they even have? When a monster is special to your opponent's field, you can have the current attack. Active target on ninja you control one face monster opponent. Send them to the graveyard. He should have used this. He could have used this to get rid of my monster. Instead, he decided to do nothing. This man is crazy. Mayhaps my Exodia deck still works? Let me check. Battle. Well, you're gonna have to do a very quick check because this guy's losing big time. Because with Gauntlet's effect, I can now double my defense points. The 5,000. That's for the rest of the turn, so the second attack. It ends it. So just waiting for young Coleman to be done checking if he can play. And otherwise we might end it, or we might just play another duel. I went for these cards in like record time, by the way. I think I'm getting better at it, but not dwindling on a detail on a card. So you know what? I'm gonna talk about this. This is the ultimate death sentence for all Superheavy Samurai players. Just looking it up here. It's Mystic Mine. Because as long as you control more monsters than your opponent does, you can't activate monster effects or declare attacks. Meaning you can't do anything with Super Heavies because they're all monsters. Like, anything you could think of would not work. So yeah, there's that. So if you think that your deck had it heavy under Mystic Mine, remember the Super Heavy Samurai players out there. They're chanceless. I have no Exodus, but I got a trap deck. It's fine with me. You know what? The fucking opposite. This deck uses no spells and traps. Your deck uses only spells and mostly spells and traps. I'll take you on. You wanna call? Yes, it is time to duel. I'm assuming you're going to host, by the way, so just to have that clear, or should I host? I can't see the host button. I know where it is, I just can't see it. It's like right here, right? Yeah, looking at my stream, I'm about correct. Oh, this time.
Hola?
Your mom
Yes.
is called Hank.
What? Oh, yeah, that's her name, I know. It's just such a shame.
Yeah, anyway, are you ready?
I'm looking for... are you hosting?
No, I said, no, you host.
Oh, darn.
I'm too lazy.
Darn it. 2010 World. Allowed cards OCG, TCG, I guess.
Yeah, that's how we usually play.
Master Rule 2020. Okay, care. Host name. Obviously. Password, there can be only one.
There can only be one!
Well, I'm hosting.
Let's see, this one is Firespark 7.
Yep.
I have to crack the password. What would it be? Could it perhaps be this? Oh my god, I cracked it! I'm in!
Well, let's see what we can... Nailed it.
Oh, I'm starting? How kind of you. You go. You go! Your turn! Make move.
I am...
Come on! Do something!
I am reading my cards for a change.
Hold up. Who are you? What have you done with Firespark? Are you Water Splash 7? His mortal enemy? Have you replaced him secretly?
I am Water Splash 8.
You're my mortal enemy then.
Yes, that's why we're Fuck. That's why we're solving this like men over a children's card game.
And not even a shadow children's card game. Jeez. Oh, it's my turn. How nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not think I'd get here with no hassle or any kind. End turn.
I'm using my threat deck. Remember?
Oh right, you don't have any monsters in here, and only the shittiest of trap cards that you could use very situationally sometimes. Right, you're an idiot. I forgot.
How can you possibly? How can you keep forgetting that?
You know what? I'm just from Firespark 7. I would have definitely expected I'm an idiot. But from Water Splash 8, my mortal enemy, I'd expected better.
You figured me out. I am actually Water Splash 9.
The fucker. I'm ending my turn.
Okay. Oh, that's nice, but I mean, oh wait, is it? Oh, this is a field spell. I'm gonna save it for later. Then.
Field spell? What the fuck?
Just
You don't have field spells. You only have trap cards.
no. I also have a field spell apparently.
Well, fine. I have Big Baraji.
How dare you?
Oh, I mean, just like that.
I mean, I can do this.
I can call you a meanie for it. Here's the drums.
How dare you?
Here's the Soulfire suit. Shooting Doji in defense mode. Bye.
Your mom.
Hold on. Why do you have transmission gear? You don't have monsters.
I was literally thinking the exact same thing just now.
You're stupid.
I know.
Go, Superheavy Samurai, Sarutobi. Equipping him with my gauntlet and my horns.
Oh god. How dare you?
And I'm reviving Fist from the graveyard.
Why are you so mean?
'Cause I'm evil.
What?
What?
You
I don't
attacked twice.
Yeah. That's Soul Horns for you. Soul Horns allows me to attack twice.
Your mom.
Oh. I hope that field spell in your hand isn't what I think it is.
What do you think it is?
Mystic Mine.
It's not.
Oh! Why did I hit myself that hard? Okay, so what is he going to do?
I can't do shit.
Oh, he's doing something stupid.
Yeah, because I can't do shit. So, you know, I'm just gonna... Your mom!
You're dead. Rematch time!
Why not?
Because your first round went so well, you know, you almost had me. You almost have it. I believe in you. You can do it this time.
And I believe in the heart of the cards.
The heart of the cards, guide me.
Even Joey can win with the heart of cards, so I mean, there's hope for me.
I'm adding soul horns again because you loved it so much last time.
Your mom. Set.
Not as much as you love my shooting doji.
Set.
Hmm?
Mom. Ooh. This can be nice. Do I want this? Do I want this? Not. And
Ooh, free face downs. He's trying to scare me again.
shh.
Well, I'm using my monster special ability.
Ability.
My god, the image quality on these is really bad.
Yeah, and if you do screw this.
Fiendish chain? On my monster?
Yes. Your mom. Your mom.
I know you're floodgating me. Wow, I'm getting floodgated.
Yes.
Fucking meta player right here.
Get floodgated.
So just so everyone knows, he just kind of threw every trap he could think of in a deck. It's awful because he looked for things like trap hole and got like every version of trap hole. You know, some of which like floodgate are very good, but then you have trap holes like the normal trap hole or Gemini trap hole, which
Or trap trick trap hole nightmare.
I felt trap hole was at least decent, right?
I mean, when a monster that was special summoned this turn activates its effect on your opponent's field, negate the effect if you do destroy that card.
You have a decent chance of pulling that one off. Gotta be honest. Most people special summon monsters, and most people use effect monsters.
I mean,
So
yeah, it's a decent one, but I don't know if it's gonna be of use.
it's not like it's going to be the most meta thing you've ever seen, but it's also not like it's going to be suck.
Your monster.
Oh fuck!
What?
My mom suck apparently.
I mean, she might.
I honestly don't want to know.
I can understand that.
And you see, you can pull that off.
I can.
That one, I want that one, I want that one, I want that one, and I want that one.
But
So, by the way, just so everyone knows, yes.
You run 0 spells and traps. What's this card gonna do for me?
Mystical Space Typhoon?
Obviously.
Not much.
Not gonna do much, no. I mean, it can get rid of my Fiendish Chain, but that's about it.
I mean, why not? It's not like you're gonna pop anything from me. It's back! I get the search again! Which one do I want?
stop? Can you stop making inappropriate noises?
Uh, uh, uh,
Yeah, the fucking. What is fucking Night Beam gonna do for me?
Oh shit, he has Night Beam. If I summon Susanoo to steal one of your traps that I can't use, because all your traps work against monsters, you can get rid of that trap card before I use it.
There you go. That's it. But that's about it.
Oh fuck. Oh shit, he just got rid of that fiendish chain.
Yes. So there's more space on my field.
Oh, I'll have less space in my deck. Wait, why didn't I... Okay, I'm an idiot. I feel like you. Wait, your friend's best insult is saying that he feels like you.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It's fun. Oh, my mom's coming home.
Cool.
Yeah.
I am I'm fucking stuck.
So am I. Sorta, I guess.
You have one face down left.
Yes, I do.
How?
Because I haven't used it yet.
But how do you not have more?
Because all the cards in my hand are useless at this point. I mean, cards of the likes of Transmission Gear and Night Beam, okay?
Transmission Gear, one of the most powerful cards in all of Duel Monsters.
Yeah, that card. I think the only reason I put it in is because Transmission Gear. I think I just put it in without thinking because Transmission Gear.
That does sound like something you would do.
I know, that's why.
Like, that's the worst part. It sounds realistic that was your actual thought process.
Yeah. Yeah. It most probably was. Will you kindly stop putting more powerful monsters on your field?
No!
Well, at least I asked.
At least you were polite about it. Good job.
Yay, I've run but why?
That wouldn't have done much against me anyway, because my important monsters will be in defense mode most of the time.
That's why I'm so annoyed that you destroyed it. I mean, it's not even gonna be much use to me anyway. Why do you even bother destroying it?
Because it's yours.
Oh. I think I may have like the reason I have transmission gears in it is maybe because I have 3 monsters that I have put in it simply because of transmission gear. That might be the case. Because that also sounds like something I would do.
Oh. Wait, do you actually have monsters in that thing?
I might.
Also, I have 4,000 defense that can attack twice.
Oh. That's not very nice.
That I am not.
Your mom.
Hank.
Yes.
So I think I'm gonna end the stream here because it's clear that you're not gonna win.
I don't feel like doing another rematch. No.
Why not? I just had a good deck against back row, and you had a back row focused deck. Not just back row focused. Back row fucking like eye clasps on only seeing back row.
Yeah, but
And having transmission gear in it, that automatically makes it worse. But that's just the case for any deck. It becomes automatically worse if you put in fucking transmission gear.
No. I'm gonna put in the next deck I build. I'm gonna put 20 transmission gear and 20 monsters, and all the monsters are gonna be Swift Scarecrow.
God, no one is going to be attacking, and he doesn't even have the smarts to make a battle fader which summons itself. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, watch out. Oh, we're gonna make my deck of like 39 fucking red medicines. And maybe a dangerous machine type 6 just to spice it up.
Yeah, okay, so I need 10 Swift Scarecrows, 10 Battle Faders, 10 Transmission Gears, and then, what was the other one? 10 Red Medicine.
You already had 10 red medicines, right? It's just like the first one you called out was red medicine. I think you mean dangerous machine type 6. That's the other card I told you to never play. That's the other card that you were told is a sin to play. Like, what's it with you playing these sinful cards?
I mean, it's me, you know.
Like, sinfully terrible. I've played against someone with a fucking Karibo deck, and I can say that you use worse cards than he does. That is better than your average card pick. Remember that. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and don't forget to join the community Discord and suggest what should be reviewed next. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more. I do this once every 2 weeks. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and see you all next time. Bye bye.